In today's reading, we are given a challenge on how to live justly. Isaiah tells us to practice things that I had learned ages ago as the corporal works of mercy. To feed the hungry, give drink to those in thirst, clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, visit the sick and imprisoned, and bury the dead. We were taught that doing these deeds helped form something inside us. It shaped what was called our character. So the question we need to look at is if justice, true justice, is about doing or being. Unfortunately, many people reduce justice to a legal notion, my adherence to the law. Such legalistic notions lead to a sense of self-righteousness, an external and superficial way of understanding justice, which can be immoral. Recall the story of the rich young man who came to Jesus. When Jesus gave him the precepts of the law of Moses, he said, "I've done these things since my youth." The external legalistic act never went farther than that young man's self-esteem. Doing doesn't always mean being. There's something more to us than only our good deeds. Although our actions tell quite a bit, they must come from something true and genuine within the self. In the second reading, St. Paul is aware that what spoke to the Corinthians wasn't his eloquence or the cleverness of his arguments. No, it was something more that touched their hearts, something of the power of God. Each one of us knows what Paul is talking about. There is a reality, a genuineness that's more powerful than all our words and all our deeds. For without it, all our words and all our deeds are hollow. They are flat, empty things that wither and have no life. So there is something more to justice that arises from within and must of its nature be shared. In Matthew's Gospel, Jesus so clearly tells us what that critical bit is. It is us. You. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Both salt and light possess a quality within that allows them to empower others. Salt brings forth a thing's flavor, and light allows both others to see and things to be seen. So what is justice? True justice. It is about something within, something that draws us into the power of God. This inner reality is what people are missing today. Our fast-paced, get-it-to-me-now world is missing it. We miss it because we look for it in all the wrong places. We buy into the bogus promises because we're afraid of the journey within. We don't want to leave the safety of the Shire, our defenses that in fact imprison us. We live life in the shallow end, never risking those deep waters of genuineness, integrity, vulnerability, and honesty. We are so convinced that without all the trappings, we will sink, never realizing that the opposite is true. It doesn't take much to find this inner reality. No treks across the desert, no battles with dragons, no Olympic competition. It only takes one simple thing: a humble, contrite heart. Don't settle for the superficial. Take time to journey within. Don't let people sell you on the cosmetics of life. Wipe away the masks that keep us apart. In a few more weeks, we will enter Lent. What a great time to discover those chambers of our hearts, those places where ages ago we have let old hurts, old pettiness, old pride seal up. I always think of the sacrament of reconciliation as the grace of being honest, allowing what is good in us to speak to us and call us back. That comes only from the deep waters of one's life, not by standing on the shore. Explore the spiritual legacy that countless women and men have learned before us and the treasury they have left us. John of the Cross, Hildegard of Bingen, or Catherine of Siena all tell us the surest way to be you is to let go of all that is false. What Catherine called the cell of self-understanding. Justice, true justice, comes from within, and it shines forth, giving light to all in the room. I would like to challenge all of us to read something. If you've never read it before, or even if you have, I challenge you to take the time and read the Confessions of St. Augustine. His is a story that is timeless. It is available for free online, so you have no excuse not to do it. But Augustine spent his youth running after all the false things so many people today chase after: fame and pleasure, prestige and honor. Even so, one day he heard a voice from within, and his life was changed. It is in the Confessions that I see capturing what today's readings are really all about our being truly just. Augustine wrote, "Urged to reflect upon myself, under your guidance, O Lord, I entered the innermost places of my being, but only because you had come to be my help. I entered then, and with the vision of my spirit, such as it was, I saw the light. Late have I loved you, ever ancient and ever new. Late have I loved you. You were within me, but I was outside, and it was there that I searched for you. In my false love, I plunged into the lovely things which you created. You were with me, but I was not with you." Justice, true justice, is about something genuine in us, something true and real, something that haunts us when we are untrue. It is out of this ground that our just deeds flow. So to paraphrase Pope Paul VI, who said at the UN, if you want peace, work for justice, I would say, if you want justice, be just. Augustine, among many great things he said, warned us, people go abroad to admire the heights of mountains or the mighty billows of the sea or the broad tides of rivers or even the compass of the ocean and the circuits of the star. But sadly, they pass by themselves. We pass by our own self. You know, I think all of our injustice stems from this. We fail to look within. We live superficial lives and fail to find our true self. Justice is defined as rendering to another what is their due. If we lack the integrity to know the true self, it's pretty near impossible to see what we owe one another. Take time to look within, to discover the true self. You owe it to yourself to at least do that. And you will be amazed to hear the words of our Lord speaking from your heart, saying, you are the light of the world.